And action.
Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting on Monday, April 21st, 2025. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:02. Can I get a roll call, please, Beth?
Select Chair, Mr. Coy.
Here?
Select Vice Chair, Mr. DeRoche.
Here.
Selectman Mr. Gifford.
Here.
Selectman Ms. Costa.
Here.
Selectman Mr. Shorman.
Excused.
And note for the record, we have Town Manager Mr. Colby with us.
And if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. All right. First on the agenda, we have recognition of the Arbor Day poem and poster contest winners, which I guess is one thing that's kind of cool. Tomorrow's actually Earth Day. And Jill, you have a few words or so. We all know what went into this, as I'm sure there was a lot of hard work from all the kids that even participated.
Pollard School has been doing this, I think, for 17 years. And what it is there's a poster contest for grades 1 through 5. And the 5th graders also do a poem contest. And we'll name the finalists tonight. And I want to thank all the students who have participated. It was so tough picking those posters and poems. It was one of the toughest years we've had picking them. The 5th grade teachers should be commended on the writing skills of these kids. It was amazing. So normally we plant a tree or do a nature walk or something. This year we didn't do that. Beyond our control, Dolores Coyle-Cork, who is usually my front person at Pollard School, unfortunately had knee surgery. So we just did the poster contest, the poem contest. We gave the kids goodie bags, and we're just so excited to have them here tonight.
Nice. This is always one of the funner nights.
Yep.
All right. I guess and what we'll start with is the poem winners. The 3rd place winner is Abby Coles. Oh, there you go. Well, you can read her poem. Oh, yeah. You didn't realize you had a talking part tonight. All right, and the 2nd place winner for the on the poem contest is Abby Russell.
Read it. Just speak into the mic, nice and clearly.
Trees, 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 my branches touch the sky while birds and squirrels hide in my branches. There in the forest I thrive while thousands of eyes watch me grow. Trees like me grow in the soil deep down. To all those who have watched me grow, together we will grow forever because I am a tree.
Well done.
Well done.
Great job. Yep. And the 1st place winner for the poem contest is Ben Phillips.
Speak into the mic. Nice and loud.
I look outside my window pane. I see the trees never the same. One small, one large, one low, one to the stars. The whisper in the wind when the leaves blow. Grow better tomorrow, we should know. I step outside and smell the air. I look and see the trees everywhere. Spring, winter, summer, fall. Seasons when trees may fall. We look at them and see a better world for you and me.
There you go. I can see why that was a tough choice, just those three. I can't imagine having to go through the whole class. Next up will be our, the Arbor Day poster contest winners. The first grade winner is Hadley Garland. And if you hold that up. And Hadley, there you go. Thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you. Bring your coat to the school tomorrow.
In this, for the poster contest, the second grade winner is Lila Lynch.
Nice job.
Great job.
Nice job.
Wow.
Yep. Hold it up just to make sure so everyone on TV can see it.
Jeanette, this is you.
And then you get that as well.
This is a certificate. Thank you.
And our third grade winner is Olivia Marcella.
Very nice.
Wow, very nice. Very good. Great job.
Hold up.
Get a certificate as well. Thank you. Great job. And our fourth grade winner is Elise Mensur. All right.
This is her poster. Show it.
Yeah.
Why don't you hold it up with the certificate?
Very nice.
People think I drew this now.
I don't think you
Good
possess
job,
that
Bill.
talent.
Well, I know I don't,
You have a way with crayon.
although my grandmother would disagree.
Always grandma's
Yep.
favorite.
And our fifth grade winner is Reese Coles.
Yes, your girls are twins.
I was gonna say you're double dipping tonight.
Thank you so much. All right. Don't think I drew it.
Yeah. Your parents will be proud you won the contest.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna take this for,
Yep, absolutely.
okay. And can you just remind them all to bring their posters to school tomorrow?
Sure.
Okay. Here's your teacher.
And I was just reminded if everyone, I guess, could bring your posters to school tomorrow. And Jill, did you want one group picture with everyone?
Yeah, I want a group picture up in front of the selectmen with all the winners. Bring your poster, you don't have to bring the picture. Come over here. Poster and.
She wants us in the picture.
Go to the other side. Just stand up.
Yes, ma'am.
The center, please. All right, just line up.
Okay, if everybody wants for the first shot, everyone look over here. There we go, there's Mrs. Costa.
Thanks.
Oh, great. And a couple more. If anyone else would like to grab some shots?
All right, we're gonna take pictures outside, by the front door too, so don't run off. Okay, thank you.
Great job,
Great
everyone.
job, everyone. Great job. Thank you, everyone. That was a great job. It's always impressive to see the poems that the kids come up with and the drawing. I know that's past me doing that. Maybe if it was paint by numbers.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Joe.
you, Joe. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Bill.
Nobody here for public comment.
Thank
have to
you.
even do it.
And next up, if there's anyone here for public comment, all right, I don't see anyone. And next on the agenda, we have to consider some proposals for a new roof over at the library. Cab, if you want to come on up.
Greg threatened I'd have to sit up here.
Yeah, well, you can't get off that easy, you know, that's why you
Oh, I
make,
know,
that's
I
why you
know.
make the big bucks. And I know the library roof, right, how old is that now? Because that building's about 25 years old, does
It's
that sound
25 years
about right?
old. Yep.
So,
It's seen quite a bit of wear, a lot of granule loss, and a few leaks here and there. And based on an inspection we had done last fall, it seems like it's good to get a little bit ahead of the curve. I mean, we could probably eke out a bit longer, but in talking to other libraries, they've all said, don't shoot for the the last possible time.
well,
that
as
you
a rule, leaks don't get better.
There is that. So, I mean, the board and I and Jim, I think Jim DeBonis, agree that this is a good time to move forward.
And that's a shingle roof?
It is a shingle roof.
And that's what you're kind of looking to replace it with, is another shingle roof?
We are indeed. I think at one point we'd looked at the possibility of a metal roof, but they tend to be 3 times more expensive. And honestly, in the current fiscal environment, we thought that would be a heavy lift for us and for the town.
And let's see, you had like a committee, right, Greg, that
Right.
went over everything?
I mean, going back, the process started all the way back. Cab mentioned earlier that, an independent person evaluated the roof back in August of 2024, which is really what kicked off this process. So myself, Cab, and his trustees that participated, and myself, though, we put together the RFP, sent out the RFP, had 15 responses to that. Jim and Cab did most of the heavy lifting when it came to the RFP responses that came back. Did interviews, evaluated, so on and so forth, to come with basically the recommendation before you tonight. So,
And I'll just make a minor tweak to that, is that this didn't start just last year.
Mhm.
The roof has been part of our CIP for a while, and it's something we've been looking at. And I think even going back into the mid-teens, we were getting proposals and estimates just to get a sense of, what are we looking at? What's the condition of the roof? And I think the last one before this cycle was 21 or 22, somewhere in there. So it's been on our radar, and it just so happens that when we revisited it, it finally seemed like it was time to pull the trigger.
And Jim, who was on it, he's got a roofing background, right?
yes. Jim,
I
has
did not
done
know this, but apparently he started roofing at the age of 14.
14.
And I asked, so when did you stop? And he said, well, really never. So
He hasn't.
I'm not sure if it's a hobby or what, but yeah, I was impressed with some of the questions he was asking at the interviews. He was referring to California weaves and this and that stuff that was far above my pay grade. And I was glad that he was part of the committee. Yeah.
Yeah, which is perfect to have him on that with all that knowledge.
Yes.
And so, does anybody have questions?
How is this going to be funded, and what's the guarantee for the roof?
Well, I'll answer the second question first. That actually is in two parts. There's a materials warranty, which comes from the manufacturer, and generally you will get a better warranty if the installer is certified, which in this case, all of the three finalists on the short list are certified with Owens Corning in particular. And I believe it's a 50-year warranty. Now, it's hard. Yeah, exactly. Jonathan's looking at me, and that's anyway. The point is that it's an architectural shingle, so it's the highest grade shingle they offer. The second piece of that is a workmanship warranty, and we've asked in the RFP that all the respondents provide at least a 20-year workmanship warranty, and they all did that. In terms of how it's going to get paid for, when I spoke to Jay, I believe last fall, we mentioned that the library has a capital reserve fund, and I think the voters very generously added an extra installment to that this past March, and so the capital reserve fund is where the money would come from. I'm not exactly sure where it's at. It's in the mid to high mid hundreds, I want to say. So this will definitely take a chunk out of it, but that's the source.
Because there was a wide, I'm looking at the pricing, there's a wide range, there was a pretty wide range.
65 to 190, and
Yeah.
I was shocked, but in talking to other folks who do this, other towns and condo associations that have a lot of buildings, a lot of roof, they said this is completely normal, which blew me away because that's a factor of 3. But
Was there anything extra that they were doing, like a retractable roof or anything?
no, I mean, the scope of the RFP I thought was pretty clearly defined. The responses, we had them give us a cost breakdown, which was, item by item, including, labor separated out and, the main shingles, the hip and valley shingle. Anyway, all that technical stuff was broken out separately. So I don't know.
It's a wide range.
Yep, it is.
I mean, we had the water bids, which was a 60%
No,
difference,
and
not the 300%, but it was 60%.
But I know sometimes what happens, some people have enough work that the only way it's gonna be worth their while is if they really jack the price up. Contract.
Yeah, it's work, so it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I'm not in the trade, so I really don't know the logic, but
Now,
yeah.
for the shingles, are they gonna pull off the existing shingles or go over?
It's they're stripping. So Jim did want me to make sure I asked about that, and because I guess you can save a bit of money, but from everything that we've learned, it's just not it's not a great idea. You end up with something that doesn't look very good, and there's some other technical reasons why it's not a do-over, a roof over. Anyway,
Yeah.
why it's really not recommended.
And if they run into wood that has to be replaced?
We have an allowance for a certain number of deck boards. Beyond that, they'll charge. I think it's a relatively modest number. I think 8, just because we're not expecting that there's going to be a ton of damage. They're not removing the ice and water shield, which is where you probably would tear things up pretty good, but they're not doing that. So yeah, we're optimistic that once they strip the shingles, things will be in pretty good shape.
Okay.
Worst case, it's an overage, and that's the way it is. Yeah.
All right. Questions?
So they're gonna put new ice and water shield like around the edges, or?
It's going to be over the existing
Over the
ice and
existing.
water shield,
Okay.
and I mean, I think we'll have a better sense once the shingles come off, and it may be that ideally you'd extend the coverage, but like I don't know if it makes sense to go from water shield over water shield and then down onto the deck. It may be that's that's not a great idea, but
And who are you recommending?
I think,
And reasons why.
well, the recommendation is to go with Lane Roofing. And I think, did I include our decision?
Mhm.
You want to quickly?
Yeah, just so we have it out there.
I mean, the primary factors being your responsiveness to the RFP requirements and the required scope of work, the price, strength of references, and then the strengths of answers and quality of the presentation with the interview. So, just the whole package, and putting it together, that's,
Okay.
I'm
Basically.
assuming they're all fully insured.
That was a requirement of the RFP.
Just asking the question. Yeah.
yes.
No, and we'll have to verify that. And I mean, once you've selected the contractor, you then go to negotiating the agreement, and then you get the lawyer in to make sure you have all the appropriate provisions, which would, indemnification or making sure we have, the right paperwork, that they have workers' comp, all the standard stuff. And that was specified in the RFP. And for now, we're taking their word, but they're professionals, and hopefully we did not make a mistake. But if we did, we'll catch it.
No, I know they've done a bunch of work around town.
Jim says he was surprised at the extent, I mean, he drives around a fair bit, and he sees lanes, trucks in a lot of places. And we did do extensive reference checking. I mean, we called at least 4 to 5 clients for each of the 3 finalists. And honestly, all of them had great things to say about all 3. Mm-hmm. So it actually was a tough decision in the sense that they all responded to the RFP and can, basically do the job that is required. Their references are excellent. So at that point, you have to go down to other criteria. And I mean, I think it was a hard decision. So I don't think we could go wrong, but we're happy with this choice.
On the last 3, have any and or all of these done a walkabout on the roof so that it has actually been feet on the roof so that they...
Lane for sure has.
Okay.
Dairy.
You're going to find soft spots when you walk compared to just doing a visual and
Yeah, I mean, they haven't walked like physically all over the roof. But I know he's been up in the turrets and got, a bird's eye view, not from a satellite, but, just from looking at it. And
just making sure it wasn't a square foot quote. That's all.
Lane has seen it up close, and he's quoted some other work for us as well before.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I'm comfortable with Lane.
Okay, when were you looking to start the project, get it done?
I think as soon as possible, mainly because of supply chain. And I did ask them, I actually emailed all the respondents, I think a week ago, saying, hey, it's a volatile environment. Will this affect pricing? Because I didn't want to go through all this process and then find out a week and a half later, oh, sorry, things have blown up and we can't. But they all said there's inventory in stock and nothing has changed. So, but I would not want to wait weeks. So as soon as we can negotiate an agreement that the town is happy with, I would say sign it. And this was actually the last factor that Greg didn't mention is, how long do they anticipate the project to take? And Lane said they could do it in 2 to 3 days, which in terms of disruption to the library and normal business operations, that seemed, a nice extra to have. So basically, as soon as possible is the goal.
Okay. Anything else? Questions, concerns, or
Start
anything?
negotiating.
I'll make a motion to move ahead with Lane Roofing to do the roof replacement at the Plastow Public Library for the amount of $79,200.
I'll second.
Second by Liz. Any comments, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So 4-0-0, I guess. With what we know is in front of us, let's get rolling, I guess.
Yep. Okay. I'd just like to thank Jim and Greg again. So that's,
Yeah, no, I was glad Jim was on there, especially with all his knowledge.
ditto.
Yeah. No, when you
I
it's, you
agree,
have
too.
knowledge, right? It's
Well, I'm a librarian and I can learn things hopefully fairly quick, but it's not the same as someone with decades of experience.
Yeah, especially in the trade experience too, right? That's a little bit different.
It is. There's only so much YouTube and Google can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you to the trustees for all the work they did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
one.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next up, we've got to approve the final RFP for the solar array on the landfill. We had Dee and Tim here, that was last meeting, right? They were here, and we asked them to go through for the final proposal. Are there any questions? Do you have anything that you need to add at all, Greg, or pretty much speaks for itself?
I think it speaks for itself.
I mean, this is
Took
what we
back.
agreed, it's what we agreed to that we asked them to do.
Right.
Did anybody have any questions at all on this? I know I read through it a few days ago. I mean, nobody sees any issues. If somebody wants to make a motion,
I'll make the motion. I move to approve and post the RFP referenced attachment for the Plastow landfill solar array as reviewed at the April 7th and April 21st, 2025 Selectmen meeting.
I'll second that.
second by John. Any discussion at all?
No, just that people are aware that there will be question and answer periods throughout this whole process, so it's not being pushed through underneath any rugs or anything like that. We'll be as upfront and cooperative and forward with information as it comes in.
Yeah, and this is an RFP, so we can get it out there, so we can gather more information, get it in on everything.
And this is a long-term project. It's going to take 3 to 5 years to implement, so this
Yes.
is going to be an ongoing thing for a few years.
Right. But it's definitely a way to make that land eventually bring some money into the town. There's nothing else you can use it for out there. This is the answer. And if you go to other towns, this is exactly what they're doing.
It's free money, essentially.
Exactly. All right. All right, then, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So 400. Now, next up, we have a request to expend from the fire department equipment capital reserve fund. Looks like they're looking for 8 gas detectors, Greg?
Yes. There's approximately 8 units across engine 1, truck 3, tanker 6, engine 8, ambulance 1, 2, car 1, and 2. And these are detectors that approximately 150 times a year, the fire department has need for them to test whether there's combustible gases, whether LP or natural, oxygen percent, carbon monoxide, hydrogen cyanide, and hydrogen sulfide gases within, an area, an emergency situation. So the voters had voted to set more money aside into the fire department equipment capital reserve. And these detectors are 15 years old and are becoming more and more unreliable. So the chief would like to use the available funds to replace said sensors and detectors.
Yeah, and I'd have to assume 15 years, they've hit the natural end of life, and this puts a new one basically in every vehicle.
Yes.
Which is a safety thing, and I know they're having some issues with some of them with failing sensors, and I'm sure 15 years old. Replacement parts are probably getting difficult to find. Would that be correct?
And
statement?
expensive.
And technology is 15 years past due, so.
So what they're looking to do to take out of the capital reserve,
Yes.
it's a total of $28,450.
Yep.
And that includes everything. The vehicle charger looks like is everywhere for all of them.
8 detectors and the equipment needed to calibrate them as well.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Do these come with any type of warranty, or I'm assuming there's some standard?
I'm sure there's
Warranty.
standard manufacturer warranty, yes.
Is there any like maintenance agreement associated to this?
That I am unsure of.
I would imagine if he's got the equipment to recalibrate them, then we're gonna be doing self-maintenance at that point.
Yeah, probably. I
Speaking
wasn't
of-
sure.
Right on time.
It does way down the
Yeah.
Just letting us know.
Let's bring in the gas detectors in now.
Yeah. No, you do see it every, and they do carbon monoxide, things like that. You see, that's quite a big thing now. All right.
Make a motion?
Yeah,
I'll
go
make a
ahead.
motion to approve the withdrawal of $28,450 from the fire department equipment capital reserve fund. The money will be used to purchase 8 gas detectors, including the equipment needed to calibrate them for the fire department.
I will second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And, okay, next up, we have a couple vehicles from the police department to liquidate. Is it just one, or is it was
Just
there a
one.
couple?
Just one.
Just one. And this is a 2013.
It's a
Ford Taurus, so
2013
it's-
Ford Taurus that was a frontline vehicle, but had been stripped down and made an unmarked detective vehicle. This is the one I believe the police department had talked about a couple of times, where there is an unknown electrical issue and a draw in the battery where if they don't start it on a daily basis, they have to jump start it.
Oh, this is the one they were having the issues with.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is a, 12, 13-year-old vehicle.
No, looks like it was purchased May 17th, 2012. So you're basically right at 13. Give it a couple weeks and you're there.
Right.
And this goes to an auction.
Yeah, the state auction is upcoming in May, and they're gonna have it towed or, flatbedded up to the auction, and whatever money that we receive will go back into the general fund to,
So the money for this goes into the general fund.
yes.
Anybody have any questions? It's,
Pretty cut and dry if you look
I
at it.
mean, you get 13 years out of a vehicle, that's a bit. Even if say something had super low miles, things just start deteriorating. If no one has any questions, my opinion, I think it's, it's basically 13 years old.
General.
Yeah, just a motion to,
Yeah, if anybody wants to make a motion?
I make a motion that we move the 2013 Ford Taurus Interceptor out of the police department into the police cruiser auction through
Second.
the state.
Second by Jay. The only question, just a quick one, Greg, is where it goes to the general fund, it's one of those things that has to go to the general fund that couldn't go to, how we have the account established for vehicle replacement?
yeah, we'd have to go to the general fund, and if we wanted to move the money from there over, we'd have to put a warrant article at town
To go through
meeting.
there, okay.
Yeah, it's
I
gotta
was
be
just wondering if there was a,
some specific, it's gotta be an
because that's where it should
actual,
end up, right?
some
I would think.
specific, yeah.
Okay, that was all I
It
had.
could end up there, yes,
Yes.
but
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's 400. And, let's see, next up, Memorial Day planning, which we have hit that time of the year again, right? Memorial Day's just a little over a month away.
It is,
Right.
isn't it?
I'm not sure what day Memorial's on, other than it's a Monday. I don't know if it's early this year or late. I don't know what the date is.
It's the
It's
26th.
the 26th. It's a little early.
Yeah. So I know Beth usually does basically most of, if not all the lifting for this.
I do already have the Timberland band agreeing to march.
Oh, nice.
Hoping Mr. Gifford will help round up the people at the American Legion
We'll take care of the
and
American
the
Legion.
Freedom Riders.
The
They're
Freedom
all
Riders, I had a quick conversation with them.
good. I'll reach out to Scouts. I don't know if we want to try to do anything special to recognize Norm.
We can certainly talk about that, try to figure out.
So,
I mean, obviously, it's gonna feel
It's going to be different.
extremely different this year.
Yeah.
Because when Norm's been around for so long, and he's always spoke at everything. But we could certainly talk about that. Is there anything else I'm trying to think? You got the band. We got the fire and police, right? The color guard.
We do have police honor guard. I mean, fire honor guard. Police still does not have one.
just mentioning that area as well. The Legion wants to take care of the flowers in that area this year around all the flags.
Oh, okay.
Post 34. And I know the Scouts wanted to take care of the flowers in front of the.
Yeah, they had mentioned that because they had a tie-in with.
So I don't know
Reader and stuff.
how that was played out in the past, but I know that they were looking to get more civic oriented with that. So if we can look into that, just Memorial Day reminds me of more spring and flowers and so forth. And a couple of conversations I was having.
Right.
Anyone have any suggestions on speakers?
Bob Harb.
I mean, obviously Bob would be invited. I guess we'll figure it out amongst ourselves.
If the commander down at the post 34 doesn't, I know, Calvin McGrillis is taking over a lot of the public front end of their organization. He'd be a good person.
He spoke at Veterans Day last year.
He did. He did a
Okay.
great
Nice
job.
job.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's
So that makes sense.
I mean, typically we've had Norm, Bob, somebody from the
Yeah.
Legion, hopefully one of you.
Yeah, we'll figure that out as we get closer.
Yeah.
Work on rounding up some folks for the parade too.
Cool.
Maybe we can get, I know it's Memorial Day weekend, but
I know we've had the
Yeah, it's
Lions.
always tough.
The Lions have
Lions,
asked. The
but we've
Lions
had-
have done it.
baseball kids, sometimes they'll go to that too. We can reach out to the
Yeah,
local groups.
yeah, it'd be nice to do that.
It would be great to have baseball, softball.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And any of the Scouts, the Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, if anybody wants to. All right, so you're in pretty good. We're in decent shape.
she'll pull a rabbit out of her hat. She always
Yeah,
does.
just whatever.
It always
you-
comes together.
Let us need. Obviously, we'll be whatever you need. Make sure you reach out and let us know.
Yep.
So we can help out. All right, so that's going on. Do we have any non-public minutes to
Yes, we
approve?
do. You want to just take the past one? Take the past one.
Let's read if someone wants to make a motion.
Make a motion to approve the non-public minutes for April 7th, 2025, and to keep them sealed.
A second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And Before we get into the town manager's report and selectmen's report, I meant to do this earlier, but with the kids here is, we wanted to make sure that we acknowledged Norman Major. A lot of the contributions he made to this town. You look through, and I know I talked briefly with Jay and everyone else here. I mean, it's amazing when you really think about what he did, like back in the 60s. Already back then, he was thinking about bringing water to the town.
Mhm.
When you think about that and the foresight that he had with other people to purchase that land up on top of Sweet Hill, and what do we have, about 10, 11, 12 miles, whatever it is, of water in this town right now. To me, that's amazing that 50 years ago, somebody thought that far in advance to think of that. You know, that, and you had with the safety complexes, to purchase that land. Was that an amusement? Kind of like a
Was it
storage
like a
place?
Trolley
store?
house.
Trolley house. And you know, to think for the future for that, where the Norm Major building is now, which obviously is named after him, and probably you could do anything after Norm, right? That became the library, because the library was originally, in the first floor here, right?
Yep.
You know, to there, and then he was instrumental, once the library moved to where the new library is, to get the courthouse in there. And now it houses recreation, you know, and building maintenance. But I think even,
Ways and Means up at State.
yeah,
I mean,
yep,
Ways and Means
yep,
Committee.
yeah, 26 years, I believe it was, representing this town. And I don't know if you'll ever meet a finer gentleman
No,
than
when he always
Norman Major.
put the
I-
people first.
He really did. And I can remember, I knew Norm just, you know, in passing before I became a selectman. And I still remember the first time he met him at an event after that. He pulled me aside, you know, to thank me for stepping up. And he didn't even ask about what I thought about anything. He was more concerned about knowing about me, my family, and, you know, what my kids did, things like that. And I still remember one of the things he says, no matter what happens, your family will always come first. You know, he goes, you know, an event in the town, you can delay it, but always put your family above everything. Because family is everything. And it's just his fingerprints all over this town. I mean, what he did for this town, it will live forever, really.
I mean, scouting, Lions, he's got his hand in everything. He made a lot of kids into great individuals.
Certainly did.
And just like you couldn't leave a conversation with Norm without feeling better about yourself. He just had a way of just making you feel good.
He certainly did.
I'm sure it didn't do that to everybody on the Ways and Means, but you know, here in town, I know he did.
No, he did. I mean, you think all the elections, you know, assistant town moderator for how many years? And I know before other stuff we talked about, we didn't touch on. He was a selectman for many years on the budget committee.
He helped bring Timberlane to be Timberlane.
Yeah. Anything you want to add or
No,
anything?
I don't. He just was a real gentleman, and I found him to be a mentor in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
And he just always had a kind word about everybody and shared his thoughts in a positive way.
Yeah.
So just a great guy all around. He
No,
will be
yeah.
missed.
Little known fact, a lifetime honorary member at the Plastow Fishing Game for the last 35 years.
Wow.
But, you know, we'd probably be remiss too not to, you know, obviously our hearts go out to Brenda, you know, for as long as they were together. I mean, and you saw them at all the events, always together in town. They were, you know, they were involved in everything. You know, the boys, Kevin, Brian, James, Jeff. I mean, a big thank you goes out to them for sharing Norm with the town. Because, you know, it's not just the person, it's the family behind the person that allows for a lot of that. And I guess with that, if we could just take a moment of silence for Norm. Thank you, and thank you, Norm. You will never be forgotten. And with that, I guess we need to approve the consent agenda. What we have for the consent agenda this week is we have the accounts payable manifest for the week of April 17th and 24th. The BOS draft minutes of April 7th, 2025. Raffle permit for the Timberlane Community Music Association. A deed to burial lot number 532. There are 3 veterans tax credit applications. There's one 2024 abatement request. And we also have consideration of 2 library trustee alternates, Mary Gorey and Kathleen Slade. And there is 1 elderly tax exemption application.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda for April 21st.
I'll second.
Second by Liz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So 400. And Greg, town manager's report.
Well, not much to add. It just sound like a broken record day to day. Meeting with department heads. Had a couple of visits from citizens here in town with some concerns and issues. Had some interviews for vacant positions. Water and record keeping the books, I guess. So.
All right, thank you. Selectmen's reports. Liz?
I went to the planning board as an alternate. That was interesting, and I can't wait. I did the Easter egg hunt here on Saturday for a little bit, and went to the town highway and water to the thank you that was held there this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Jay?
Welcome.
Let's see. I just wanted to pass my condolences on to the Major family. Also, I did attend the thank you event that was at the highway garage for the plow contractors. So thank you to our plow contractors for all the work they did keeping our roads safe all winter. I do have a budget meeting tomorrow night. I'm not able to attend, but Tyler's going to go in my place. And I think that's it.
Is that just basically a reorg for budget tomorrow?
Yeah, it's basically a reorg, and I think we do have one open position that's going to be May 1st. So I'm not sure if we're going to have another meeting in May. So,
All right.
But I'm assuming that open spot will get posted at some point.
All right. Thank you.
I attended, as we all did earlier today, take care of the people that take care of us and make sure we get around the town safe during the winter, which we all appreciate very much. My other venue was Old Home Day Committee meeting, which is being run by Alan Davis, and he's doing a terrific job. Obviously, the support team there, and we always have Kate. And she's like, whenever anything gets off the track, it's, Kate, what are we supposed to be doing here? And it gets right back on track again. So we're going to always ask for volunteers because it's a town-run event. It's town-wide. We need as many hands on deck at any given time, if it's an hour, 2 hours, or whatever it is. But come on out and enjoy the day when we're done.
Thank you. Since our last meeting, I attended the planning board meeting. It was really just basically a workshop meeting. There was nothing before us. Also attended the Old Home Day. I think the planning's going really well there.
Absolutely.
It's getting there. There's going to be a few new wrinkles this year, which I think should be fun. I was also at the Easter egg hunt. They put out over 8,000 eggs, and they timed it this year. They picked it all up in 2.5 minutes. It's amazing. You see all these eggs and boom.
Yeah, gone. Oof.
Yeah, that's always like one of my favorite events in town.
Yeah.
And also, I was also at the thank you to the snow plowers, and one thing I will say about that, you talk to other people from other towns, they always say how it's always a pleasure to drive through Plastow compared to some of the other towns. So you do hear it from other towns. What we have, there should be a copy of the final committee listings. Just take a, yep, so take a quick look just to make sure. You know, it's what we figured, and for mine, it looked like it was good, and I know usually we should never question Beth when we put these together. Because I've learned through the years, she's right, I'm wrong. And some events that are coming up. We have Household Hazardous Waste Day. The drop-off day is Saturday, April 26th, at the Public Works Garage, 144 Main Street, and that's between 9 and 12 p.m. For Earth Day celebration, which tomorrow was Earth Day, is the townwide cleanup day, and that will take place this year on Saturday, April 26th. Meet at the Recreation Office, which actually is the Norm Major building. That's where they will hand out any of the bags, you know, to pick up and just let them know what street you're going to be cleaning up. And I know that's ongoing right now. You can stop in anytime this week leading up to Saturday to pick up those bags if you want, so you don't have to wait till Saturday. And the main reason they want to know what street you're going to be cleaning is so Danny and the highway crew can come by on Monday and pick those bags up. Over April vacation for Recreation Department, they got the Launch Trampoline Park on April 29th. On May 1st is Chunky's movie. So just see the Recreation Department. Any questions on that? Just contact Janet Recreation. The townwide yard sale will be May 10th. And a couple other things for recreation. Make sure you visit their website. They've got a lot going on over there right now. They have 5 different fitness programs that they're running. So check out their website for that. And there is a middle school night out. I'm not sure what day that is, but I know that's coming up. And also, which is always a big sign-up event, is the summer rec registration will open on May 1st. And just so everyone knows, we touched on it earlier, the Memorial Day Parade is Monday, May 26th. And the start of the parade is at Pollard. That'll start at 9 a.m. We march up to the cemetery, and then we march on back to Town Hall. Trying to think, does anybody have anything they wanted to bring up? Do we have no non-public? Good answer. All right, and with that, we will close the meeting at 6:55. Is that right?